a confession to make. There's an identity I own that, regardless of whether you're a close friend or a stranger I have yet to meet, is a secret to most of you. It's a name that I know just as well as the one you know me by, and a story that has narrated my life for over a decade. I'd like for you to think back to your years as a preteen. You're bigger than a big kid, but you haven't quite made it to the teenage years just yet. Think about what you named your pet rock, who you played house with at recess, how you danced at bar and bat mitzvahs, eating smiley-face french fries after school. And now think about what that picture looks like in your 4th grade yearbook. I see it on your faces, me too. Now gather all of the memories of your awkward, hilarious, embarrassing, and quite frankly, uncomfortable preteen self, and now pick that human up and place them at clown camp. Friends, allow me to properly introduce myself. My name is Waves the Clown, and it's a pleasure to be with you all this evening. And if you don't mind, I'd love to get on with the show. So, Camp Clownin' Around in Cary, North Carolina was, as you might have guessed, a clown camp, and they were all about stepping outside of your comfort zone and moving past the limits we so often set for ourselves. I still vividly remember the juggling rotation on the first day. There was something in my gut that knew it all along. I wasn't going to be able to juggle. But I buckled down. And despite knowing that as a young clown, the most crippling thing that I could have imagined had come true, this clown you see is no quitter. So Waves, she buckled down. She recommitted to her identity as an aspiring clown, and she recognized that the choreography of juggling was not going to happen for her. I wouldn't be able to keep 3 scarves hovering in the air, let alone 3 hacky sacks. So I packed up my bowling pins, steered clear of knives and flaming batons, and 14 years later, I found myself on a new stage. Waves the Clown had a new set of magic tricks and a different set of hoops to jump through. The land of the green wave. And now, as I've made my way through the 3-ring circus that has been my 4 years here at Tulane University, I've come to realize that despite the amount of confidence that I know you all have in this clown behind me, I still can't juggle it all. Despite how many times I tried to pick it all together and pick it all up, I came to the realization that I couldn't do everything. Despite trying to juggle here and there, I dropped it all. But I have to tell you that for a few magical moments, I was able to manipulate time and space in a way where they let me catch it all. But I also have to tell you that I've dropped everything enough to know that those moments, they can't last forever. Eventually, your calendar gets misplaced. You schedule 25 meetings for tomorrow before a light bulb goes off in your head and reminds you, hello, Waves, they're only 24 hours. And that's when you realize that something has to give. You truly cannot do it all. What used to feel exhilarating becomes a mess of anxiety and missed opportunities. But there's a reason for that. When life becomes nothing more than a juggling act of people and projects, trying to fit all the moving pieces together becomes more important than the individual components. Being able to sit through a marathon of meetings or mindlessly plug appointments into your calendar with some human-sized Tetris application, it's not only disorienting, it's dissatisfying. There's nothing meaningful in just going through the actions if you're never going to try and juggle with anything heavier than scarves. It doesn't take an unusually exceptional skill set to be able to sit in class or attend meetings, But we've all seen that person, and I bet most of us have been that person. You know, the one who's texting during class because your friend is almost at the counter at Chipotle, and making sure that they get your order perfect is a million more times valuable to you in this moment than the nuances of the welfare state. Or maybe we're all guilty of, during that staff meeting, making a to-do list because we've come to the realization that this hour is definitely going to be a waste of our time, but maybe the rest of the day doesn't have to be. We're present physically in all of these spaces, but not emotionally, mentally, or in any of the ways that actually matter. When we conduct ourselves in this manner, we become mimes, acting out skits of our daily routines instead of engaged individuals who are trying to create a picture of what tomorrow might look like. When we lose focus, when we allow the so-called juggling act to get us through the days, we lose our capacity to be engaged. And as a result, we limit the ability we have to be meaningful contributors to the communities that we are a part of. It's not enough to be present. You have to show up for the things that you believe in. Choosing how to spend your time with purpose and direction allows you to be more fulfilled because you get to truly and entirely invest in any moment that life might throw at you. Be it a conversation with a classmate or trying to catch that last hacky sack ball before it touches the ground, intentionality is about investing in the people around you and giving yourself time to focus on the things that truly matter. It requires an acknowledgement that when you allow yourself to truly focus in on those things that make you tick, it will alter the way you view the world, but most importantly, it'll change the way you exist within it. Being intentional is about showing up in the here and now. And friends, it's about living in the front row of your own life. If there's something you're passionate about, pursue it wholeheartedly. And if you try something that maybe you're not so good at, that's just as great, so long as you recognize and you retire the silky scarves and leave juggling to the individuals who have dedicated their entire lives to perfecting the craft. If you truly want to feel successful and you want to live that happy, fulfilling life we also desperately want to obtain, you have to be intentional with your time. And you have to give yourself space to have those moments that engage you. So go. But don't just go. Show up. Find that cause that every time you think about it, it makes your heart beat a little bit faster. And never stop your search for those organizations that bring out a passion rooted so deeply within your gut that you want nothing more than to pursue it constantly. Get out into the world and fill that calendar, minute by minute, hour by hour, but make sure that these moments allow you the time to be meaningful and to engage in things that further your desires and passions. So get out there. Go. Show up. But be with me for one more moment here. I want you all to make a commitment to yourselves. Make a commitment to yourself right now that the next time you realize that you're chasing hacky sacks across the floor, you're going to stop. You're going to take a step back and focus. You're going to refocus on your passions and let them inform the path of a way towards a more intentional way of being. Each and every one of you owes it to yourself to live a life that's meaningful. And I know that your time is far too valuable to be lost in the juggling act.